we are up in the polls by 20%. So we are ranking #2 at the very moment when it comes to the current polls. And this is not because people do not know what we are standing for, but it's very clear what our program is. This is why our support is so strong and growing. And so the #1 issue for AfD in Germany has been for a long time, to be honest, as of from 2015, reduce illegal migration to Germany and get those people out of Germany who are here without a permission, who are illegally in Germany, or who came from a country where no longer is a wall. So this is very clear program. This is not unclear to anybody, maybe for you, but not for the German voters. And the second thing, which is of main importance for this upcoming election, is economy. Our economy is on the brink. And the main question for our economy are energy prices. Energy prices are too high, so our economy is losing its competitiveness. And this is why we're focusing on those two issues. It's one, illegal migration, and two, the economy. And when it comes to economy, you have to talk about the energy crisis we are facing. Our energy prices are too high. We're losing our industry. We're losing the jobs in our industry. And that's the backbone of our country.
Indeed, and I think we can agree that there were many policies under the CDU which were just too short-termist, and we're not thinking about the energy transition and indeed how Germany can keep the lights on during moments where we have very, very difficult weather conditions, as we saw with the Dunkelflaute within the last week. But in terms of what the recipe is for those high energy prices, presumably nuclear is the answer rather than kowtowing back to Russia.
Both, everything. We need everything to be as independent from any other country as possible. That means we have to go back to nuclear power plants at #1. #2, we have to invest again and reopen coal power plants, you say, Kohlekraftwerke. And we do need most cheap gas, of course, and we might also have some wind and solar panels on our roofs. So what we are asking for is have it open, make it open, and stop our nuclear power plants from working, what they already did, and now they are bringing them, they are exploding them, they are destroying them, physically destroying them, and this is what we are opposing strictly. And this is all due to the policy which has been set up by Angela Merkel's party in the last term. So the CDU is responsible for what we are facing here in terms of energy crisis, in terms of crisis of our economy, and in terms of illegal migration and the problems that faces for our society everywhere. So the CDU is responsible for what's going on here, and that's the main thing. That's the main question. That's what all the election is all about. The CDU, so people are fed up with this government. The support rate for the current government has dropped down to 0.0%. So the CDU is proposing a complete shift in politics, but they neglect that they will not have a majority for any kind of change as long as they go into a coalition with the Greens or the Red, because they want to stick to all this kind of migration politics and energy politics.
Can I please ask you about your role in the future government? Because what is clear is that none of the other parties wants to form a coalition with you. That's sort of like a given when it comes to the next 4 years. So are you going to plan to do strategic voting in Parliament? Will you support rather the CDU pledges, or what's your thinking about being in the opposition?
You know, this is what we always did. We support what we think is right. The problem at the very moment is, even without any further election, there would be a majority for plans the CDU is campaigning of. For example, get rid of the supply chain law, or even close the border. They came up with this law a day before the government broke down. So from one day to the next, we could have approved the legislative proposal of the CDU in terms of stop migration. And there was a majority because CDU is now campaigning on behalf of this issue. AfD always was in support of, and also the Liberals want to support this policy now. So there was a majority in the parliament. And what happened? There was no majority in the parliament because CDU withdraw the legislative proposal because they were afraid to have a majority for what they want or what they say they want. So they are lying to the people, and our campaign will focus on this. Right. There could be a majority for reasonable policy, which is heavily needed by the German economy and the German people and in Germany. But it will be hard to achieve if the CDU sticks to Green and socialists as a possible coalition partner.